All right, gang. It is 3:24 in the morning. Let's talk weather, right? So some things happening. We've got a lot of storms on the board right now. This may be a good thing, though. How? Well, storms are like weeds. When they compete with each other for fuel, we do better. The weeds do worse. So all these storms around could potentially be a good thing. So what we're seeing now, we've got storms ahead of the main line out here. These storms so far, primarily behaving. Then there's the main line back here to the west. This is going to keep moving east over the next few hours. As it does, it'll move into an increasingly warm environment, and we still suspect this line is our main tornado threat as it moves east, primarily south of the city of Montgomery. The forecast's working out pretty well here. Now, for those of you who live in Montgomery, we have a squall line moving through. It's already moved through Montgomery. It's now into East Alabama. We'll watch for any rotation on the southern end of that. Keep an eye out for any sort of little spin-ups. But right now, we don't see a nickel's worth of rotation in that. Most of what you're seeing on radar right here is north of the warm front, meaning it's elevated, meaning there's not a huge tornado setup there. But it's something we'll keep an eye on. There's some wind up and down this line. And frankly, there's wind everywhere. Everywhere in Alabama right now, it's really, really windy. So that's something we'll be keeping an eye on as well. So I'm Josh. Tyler's right over here. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Tyler's bashful. I'm just kidding. He's getting ready to do Today in Alabama. He and I will be doing a little bit of team coverage weather on Today in Alabama, starting at 4:30 in the morning. So this is one of those nights. This is a scary sounding thing. Because it's really, really windy outside. But the tornado risk in this is for areas north of Montgomery. It's not zero, but gosh, it's pretty close to it. It would take something really weird to happen to have a tornado north of Montgomery. People asking, are weather radios down? Ours hasn't went off for thunderstorms. Well, it depends on where you live. There have not been many thunderstorm warnings issued tonight in central Alabama. In fact, I don't know that we've had one.
Other than Wilcox, Monroe, and Butler.
But like in central, though, in the Birmingham coverage area.
Nope, not one.
I don't think we had a single warning. I did just get an update from the National Weather Service. They suspect that a tornado watch will be needed for their southeastern counties in a couple of hours. So there'll probably be a new watch that gets issued, and I suspect it would include Montgomery, Bullock, Pike, Barber, and then maybe Macon, Russell Lee.
Yeah.
Maybe Macon, Russell Lee. We'll wait on the watch to come out before we really guess too far down that road. So that's what we're kind of seeing now. Let me show you the latest data on how this is going to unfold from here on out. So we're not at the end of this, but we're not at the beginning either. We're sort of in the middle of this. So this is going to... this could potentially still get worse before it gets better, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's dive into it here. So this is the data valid roughly at 4 a.m. And the model, it really has done a remarkable job. I would say it's initializing very well. At 4 a.m., it has this cluster of storms ahead of the main line. These would need to be watched, particularly south of the city of Montgomery. So 4 a.m., we'll have our eye on Covington, Butler, Crenshaw, Pike counties. And then the main line itself, lurking back here to the west, will need to be watched as well. At 4 a.m., it will run from roughly Faunsdale to Grove Hill to the city of Mobile. 5 a.m., it moves east really fast. So remember when you look at this, though, I know your eyes are drawn to these purple bullseyes, but remember, north of Montgomery, the air is it's too cold, it's too stable. We're not dealing with a major tornado threat there. South of Montgomery, we may have tornadoes. So the threat at 5 a.m. gets higher in southern Lowndes, southern Montgomery, Wilcox, Monroe, Conecuh, Escambia, Covington, Butler, Crenshaw counties. Here's 6 a.m. Still got some rotation in some of these storms, especially south of Montgomery. But the line now moving into Montgomery, Macon, Bullock, Pike, Coffee counties. Still back into parts of Crenshaw, Butler, Covington as well. Here's 7 a.m. The line now runs from roughly Auburn to Geneva. See it over here, East Alabama? Damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes would still be possible. 8 a.m. is getting close to the Georgia border. So we're talking Russell, Barber counties, back into Henry and Houston and Geneva counties. And then would you look at that? By 9 a.m., this is mainly just in Houston County. And by 10 a.m., it is all gone. So that is where we are right now and where we're going. So again, to recap, radar right now showing you big batches of thunderstorms, several of them. The main line of concern is this line back to the west, but we will also have to watch these cells popping ahead of the line. These will move northeast. Remember, though, once they reach about the line where Montgomery is, once they reach that line and go north of it, the air up here really isn't supportive for tornadoes. So you go north of Montgomery, even these storms, once they get north of Montgomery, they're going to weaken considerably. So just, again, understand when you're looking at this, it's really not one size fits all. So if you're in Holtville, Slapout, Deatsville, Marion, Demopolis, Alex City, Dadeville, Auburn, Opelika, Lafayette, Clanton, Jemison, Prattville, Millbrook, Wetumpka, the tornado risk really doesn't affect you very much. This is mainly just going to be a lot of lightning, a lot of loud thunder, a lot of wind, and that's it. So I understand a lot of you are very anxious tonight, but if you live north of Montgomery, there's really not a lot of, this is more bark than bite. This is really just going, it's going to be loud. You're not going to like it, but it's not going to be an exceptionally sort of dangerous situation. I'll dive in here and see if we can hop into some of these questions that I haven't already answered. Power came back on for 5 seconds and then went back off up here in Auburn. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning. In Destin, very windy, lots of offshore rotation. What's the future look like? Future looks pretty bumpy down in Destin. That's going to be a wild ride for you, I'm afraid. So there's Navarre, there's Panama City. So Destin would be kind of in that general area. It's odd Destin's not showing up. There it is right there. Okay. So that little guy, that little storm right there is going to make life pretty interesting in Destin, I'm afraid. Let's see if we've got any rotation with it. Not a lot. We need to switch to Eglin. Switch radars here, get a closer look in. Oh, wow, yeah.
Okay.
You switch to Eglin, you see some things you would have missed otherwise. Yeah, so there's actually quite a bit of rotation with that, and that's going to come right up towards Santa Rosa Beach. May go a little bit east of Destin, that storm. Now, there are other storms. They're not rotating quite as intensely, but these storms could produce a tornado or water spout at any time as they come up towards Destin. This one, I think, probably goes a little bit east of Destin. So, Mike, that's kind of the best answer we can give you there. It's going to be a bumpy go of it, I'm afraid. No way to sugarcoat that. Bad in Phoenix City. Shakia says a tornado is touched down by the water treatment plant. We'll check on that. It's probably wind damage, would be my guess. But never say never. Give everybody a... Yeah, that's definitely going to be straight line or just thunderstorm wind. Not even... That's non-thunderstorm wind damage. There's not even any storms in Phoenix City right now. It may not have even rained there yet. So, yeah, Shakia, that, believe it or not, that wasn't a tornado. That was just a lot of strong wind associated with this system. This thing's a beast, guys. Update on Citronelle. Worst of it for you is roughly right now. Citronelle's down here in the southwestern corner of the state. They're dealing with this mean, ugly, nasty line of storms over here. Look, guys, once this line passes you, that's it. It's over. So we can already give you an all clear for severe weather. Demopolis, Linden, Faunsdale, Marion. You're done with this. Now, it's going to stay really windy and really wet and still thundery throughout the night. But overall, this is doing all right. Let's see here. More fun questions. What Raymer area? Are we in the clear for tornadoes? No, you're not in the clear. The odds are low, but they're not zero. Power blinking and Beauregard. That's not surprising. Yeah, that's right now. I think the last number I saw statewide power outages, we're hovering right around 50,000 in the state. Let's see here. Did you say Phoenix City? Look, hey, someone else said Phoenix City in the water treatment plant. I haven't seen or independently verified any of that. So that's for Taylor, who was asking you about Phoenix City. It wasn't a tornado, I can tell you that. There wasn't a storm over there. So if they had any damage, it was just wind blowing things around way too much. Brundage area, Dothan, it's stormy. It stays stormy. Clio, same thing. Look, guys, if you live south of Montgomery, Enterprise, yes, you're south of Montgomery, tornado threat. Priscilla, Prattville. Prattville is not clear. I think the odds of a tornado in Prattville tonight are very, very close to zero. Selma, not quite clear yet, but Selma, you give it an hour, this thing's all done. The risk of a tornado in Selma is very, very low. Tuscaloosa, the Birmingham on Interstate 20 is fine. It will be rainy and very windy, but there's no real tornado threat. What time will this hit Dothan? I would put it in the 6 to 9 a.m., 5 to 9 a.m., something in that category, so early morning. What about Crenshaw County? Tornado risk there lingers. Covington County outlook, you're under a tornado risk now. You've got a tornado risk that will continue through about 8 o'clock this morning. Hartford, Ozark, exact same answer. What's Crenshaw looking like? Exact same answer. Andalusia, question mark, exact same answer. Tornado threat continues south of Montgomery through about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're north of Montgomery, there's no tornado threat really for you. If you're south of Montgomery, there is a tornado threat, and it'll last through 8 or 9 in the morning. So that's the forecast. For everyone asking, you just type in your city. I literally can't even keep up with it. It's something. Montgomery, Troy, Auburn, Wetumpka. It's just the same questions over and over and over.
National Weather Service in Mobile says the line is strengthening and they expect it will continue to get more intense as it moves further east.
Well, do you have any good news you'd like to share, or was that the only thing you had?
I got third place in my bowl pick'ems.
So second loser.
Yeah.
Sick.
I do what I can. We're making plays.
That's right. We're making plays. So what Tyler just talked to us about, the National Weather Service in Mobile, suggesting the line is going to continue to strengthen. Starting to see better organization on the main line. Tornado threat, damage and wind threat will increase across southwest Alabama through early this morning. So everybody with the what about questions, you got to. All I'm asking you to do here is know where you live in relation to the city of Montgomery. Again, north of the line, we'll do a smiley face. You're good there. It will be very rainy, very windy, very wet. South of the line, we will do a frowny face because down here, there's a risk of tornadoes that's going to continue. See it? That part of the state right there. So we'll do this again. So in this part of Alabama down here, there's a risk of tornadoes. Up here, it's just wind and wet. Drawing it on there for you. Down here, it's windy. We got wind. We got wet. And we have a tornado risk. I'll put a question mark and we'll extend it into Georgia. So that's it. Look at the map. Know where you live on the map. That's the key here. That's the secret to the drill, so to speak. Randy says, geez, Tyler, we needed a positive update. She's not wrong.
Some good news.
He said he's going to help us out. He's going to dig for some good news here. No confirmed tornadoes. That's good. Desiree asks, does anyone not know if they are south of Montgomery? Desiree, I can tell you with a complete certainty. A quick look into my Facebook messages and email inbox will confirm that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have no idea where they live in relation to the city of Montgomery or on a map. So I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying it is what it is, right? That line is right on shorter. Does that count as a sad face area? If you're right on the line, just assume there's a tornado risk, right? I mean, if you're trying to figure out where you are, if there's any question, if you're right on the line, just assume there's a risk of a tornado, and that way, if there's not one, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I'd rather you be surprised by no tornado than get surprised by a tornado, right? So that's how we'll kind of play that. Auburn could be either or at this rate. I think for Auburn, it's probably just going to be rainy and windy and wet. Went to bed earlier to wake up, keeping on the weather here in Jack. Hey, Emily, good morning. Hope you're doing well. When is the second line supposed to go through Millbrook? That'll happen about 5 o'clock, 5 to 6 a.m. The real tornado threat, though, is stay south of Millbrook. Any concerns with the cell entering Coffee County? Yes, that's the area of the state that we've got to watch. We'll go back. I hate to clear off this Rembrandt quality drawing here, but I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm headed for the Art Hall of Fame, no doubt. Right to the Louvre, straight in there, man. Yeah, so a couple of things. These storms look suspicious. The shape of them is suspicious. Some of them have shown some signs of rotation at times. Here's one right here. See that? Coming into Geneva County. Some spin in that. Not enough to prompt a tornado warning at this point, but enough to get our attention. We've had a lot of these tonight that we've kind of watched, but so far we haven't had any that have strengthened to the point of we think it will produce a tornado. And Jess, I love you, man. I think you're a man. Let me look. I shouldn't assume anything. This is 2024. I apologize. Jess seems to be a man. All right. Jess, I love snow. I love the question. I'm not even talking about that yet. I do think it's next week is going to turn bitterly cold.
Stop it.
Just so you know. Also, we're probably going to have more severe weather on Friday. So if you want to run me out of town, look, I get it. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot. If you do, shoot over my head. Lisa says the picture was epic. So I appreciate that. I asked earlier, but we had to get off. What does surface base mean? That's a great question. So surface base means a storm that is based or rooted in a layer of warm, muggy air near the ground. So there's really two options for storms. There's surface-based and there's elevated. Think about this. A surface-based storm would be like you build a house on a foundation, on a slab. Boom, it's connected to the ground. And an elevated storm would be like if you built it on stilts. You know, sometimes near rivers, you see those houses that are built up on stilts. So storms that are surface-based, that have a layer of warm, muggy air underneath them, those are the storms that produce tornadoes. Tornadoes thrive on warm, muggy air near the ground. Tornadoes do not like cold air. So when a storm is elevated, that means it's basically sitting on top of a layer of cold air that's near the ground. Elevated storms have a very difficult time producing tornadoes. I'm not going to say it's impossible. Nothing's impossible, but gosh, it is hard for them to do. Thank goodness. So a lot of the storms that we're seeing from Montgomery points north, those are elevated storms. They're on stilts. They are not really a danger to produce tornadoes. Even if they rotate, that rotation is likely not going to make it down to the ground. So, great question, and I like it. So, thanks for asking. All right, scanning back through the questions, and boy, are there.
Oh, look who it is. Judd Davis in the house.
We're live on Facebook. Judd's here.
Okay, we're live on Facebook.
That's right. That's it. Yep.
Good to know, my friend.
I just
yeah, I was going to throw a weather term most folks have not yet heard of.
Judd Davis in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
This radar, this was a tough drive in, bro.
Was it?
Is it?
Pretty windy?
Yeah, it was sideways coming out of Pike Road area for a while. The interstate was actually nicer once I got there, but I had the flashers on going about 45.
I like it.
Yeah, and the big rigs were actually behind me this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so usually they kind of zip on by, but everyone was,
They were kind of
it
thinking.
was a white knuckle drive in.
Whew.
That radar is not looking great, is it?
Well, you heard it here first.
This is the worst part.
That's Judd telling you to expect a pretty rough morning drive.
Here before 4. That line.
Let's see here.
Okay.
We are all going to be zombies at work. Tracy, I'm a zombie at work right now. Did you know that?
Probably will be, yeah. From Montgomery South is probably what we're going to get. So we haven't had any tornado ones yet, no.
Let's see. Emily just commented on this Facebook Live and said "like."
Yes.
I think Michigan definitely let a naysayer know
They liked all
yesterday.
night long on Lionel Richard.
All night long. I think Michigan just scored again. I have to check my phone. I think they may have just punched another one in.
Harbaugh stole my signs in the way it worked.
I don't know if you guys heard that. Judd just said Jim Harbaugh stole his signs on his way into work. So, a little storm humor, right? Serenity says, I'm terrified. You don't need to be terrified, Serenity. Windy, wet, tornado risk, sure, south of Montgomery, but it's something we'll watch. Look, these things, I've done 100 of these things now. You just watch them play out. And Sonia says, winds must be or have been bad. My gazebo is in my pool. That is subpar. I'm sorry that happened. Have the temps in the south stayed lower than predicted? No, if anything, they're running a few degrees warmer down around Evergreen, Andalusia area. That's really that core area of concern would be about Thomasville to Greenville to Troy to Eufaula and points south from there. That's really, to me, that's the area where you're getting the most warm air. So great question there. Chelsea says, "Go blue."
Oh, boo!
Yeah, this is a tough audience for you, I'm afraid. We've got some Alabama folks and Ohio State, so no one loving the Wolverines. Surprisingly, my trampoline has stayed in the same place in the past 14 years. That is surprising. I'm glad that's happened. The Covington County thing, that the Crestview, Florida storm, that storm was rotating. It has since stopped rotating, and frankly, it's competing against a lot of other storms down here. We're still watching it, but right now there's no real threat for that. How much longer in Andalusia should I stay up for safety? You really don't have to stay up. If you have something capable of waking you up, a weather radio, the First Alert weather app, take your phone out of silent mode, you don't have to stay up. You could be asleep. So tough to answer that question, but it's a personal kind of comfort level, I guess, with the idea of staying up or not staying up. So I get it. It's different for everybody. There's no right or wrong. Let's see here. Where did you say the most warm areas? It's definitely in the southern counties of the state. Temperature in Selma has gotten warmer over the past couple of hours. Yes, it has, no doubt. All right, Mobile and Baldwin counties, tornado warning. This includes the city of Mobile. If you have family or friends who live in Mobile, you need to let them know about this one. So we've got a possible tornado very close to the radar. I mean, that thing's going to move. That thing's going to move
Right over the National Weather Service.
pretty much right over the National Weather Service. They may have to get another office to start to take over there. All right, so that's your tornado warning for Mobile. Now this would be coming in Airport Road. This would be out near Grelot Road. That's out on the west side of the city of Mobile. This is going to come right over the airport. So if you have family or friends who live off of exit 3, exit 4 there, along Interstate 65 in western Mobile County, let them know there is a tornado warning in effect now. Things wrapping up pretty tight. Remember, when you get close to the radar like this, you're actually seeing this storm way down in the lowest levels. So you're able to get a really good look in at it. And this one's really beginning to rotate quite a bit. Again, this would be, Mobile County. This is not in the WSFA coverage area. If it was, there would be a lot of yelling and we'd be getting on TV as fast as we could. So this is, again, in the city of Mobile. This will affect Pritchard, Mobile itself, really the north end of downtown Mobile, up Interstate 65, exits 3, 4, and 5, and then on up towards Saraland and Satsuma. That's exit 15. So exits, we'll say just to be safe, 3 through 15 off I-65, Interstate 110 that connects downtown Mobile back over to I-65, all in the path of that. So family or friends now in Mobile, tornado warning in effect down there, out on the city's west side. I'll check the correlation coefficient, see if we've got any confirmed debris on that. I think we do. Gosh, if that's not a debris ball, it sure looks like one. Or a debris signature, I'm sorry.
Just based off of velocity, I feel like it has to be.
Did you see the CC drop?
Not yet. Is there one?
Yeah, it looks like. Here, I'll get a second opinion on this.
Yeah, look on Barron.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on radar scope too.
That's gotta be.
So we're seeing what appears to be tornado debris. Yeah, the Weather Service just confirmed it. TDS noted with this cell near Big Creek Lake. That's a tornado debris signature. So we've got a confirmed tornado on the ground now, approaching Mobile Regional Airport and the National Weather Service. So if you have family or friends who live out here in western Mobile County, let them know there's a confirmed tornado there. So that's that. Here at home, there are no active tornado warnings yet in our area. That will probably change over the next couple of hours as this line of storms that we're tracking right down here, as this moves east, the environment over South Alabama favors tornadoes. So this part of the state right here, that's where we're concerned about. The good news is behind that line, this is all done. Marengo County, all clear. I can give you an all clear Marengo County. Couple of questions. Storm in Selma near Highway 80. Looks like some rotation. Does it? Let's look at it.
Warm front up there?
No.
No.
Not really a rotation signature, Dwayne. That's really more of a straight line wind signature, and even that is it's really not a strong one at that. And then you get into these storms over here in Autauga. These are very messy. I don't see anything in Autauga or Dallas that jumps out from a rotation perspective right now. And frankly, I doubt we would see anything. The warm air really hasn't made it that far north yet. Let me check and see what Selma's sitting at right now. Selma is 64. Okay, well that's up 3 degrees in the last 20 minutes. So we're starting to get some warmer air up in there, but I still am not sure that that's going to be warm enough to get us a tornado threat. And look, in Selma, that's the end of the severe weather threat right there. That line that I just drew on the map. So in Selma, this is going to be over and done with in 30 minutes. The severe weather risk for Marion, for Perry County, the risk of severe weather is almost over. So. Is it true that if you see a tornado and it doesn't look like it's moving, it's heading towards you? It can be true. Okay? So if you're looking straight on at a tornado and the tornado does not appear to be moving, then one of two things are happening. It's either moving directly towards you or directly away from you. So, yeah, if you're staring at one and it doesn't look like it's moving, go ahead and go to that tornado safe place. Honestly, if you're staring at any tornado and if it appears to be moving or not moving, go to the safe place. I can't tell you how many people have been hurt or killed because they stood outside watching a tornado for too long. They thought they'd have more time to jump inside real quick right before it got to them. Tornadoes don't work that way. They move really, really fast. So, yeah. Don't wait on it to get up on you. You'll have way less time than you think. Everyone thinks they'll have a bunch of time to see it, hear it, and run from it. Tornado will move just north of the Mobile Regional Airport in the next few minutes. That's that storm down in Mobile County. That's our only active tornado warning so far in this whole thing. So this all looks the same, I get it, but if you draw that line right around Montgomery, north of that line, all these storms are just going to be wind and rain producers. So wind and rain is really all we're looking at there. South of the blue line, there is wind, there is rain, but there is also a tornado risk. So this part of Alabama down here is where we're concerned about tornadoes. So I'll leave that up on the screen so we can kind of watch it all come in there. Emily says, stands outside and watch the tornado. Roll Tide. Hey, that's about right. Do you know about what time the line will hit Elmore? There's two lines that will hit Elmore. It will be very stormy there through 6 a.m. Let's call it that. What about Prattville-Wetumpka area? Again, mainly just rainy and windy for you. How fast is the line moving? East at about 45. It's moving quickly. It's not going to take a long time for this to move all the way across the state. Just joined, how's Lee County looking? Looks windy, looks wet. So far, the tornado risk seems to be playing out as very low for you. We'll keep you posted.
53 at Evergreen.
53 mile an hour wind gusts at Evergreen. Whitney Bauer says good morning, Tyler.
Oh, Whitney, you want to come in?
Yep, Whitney, we need you to do Alabama Live today. And the noon, and the 4, and the 5, and the 6. Did our watch drop? The map shows no more watches for Covington. No, there is still a tornado watch in effect for Covington County. How strong will the wind be? 45 to 50 miles an hour. When will this stop? The wind will slowly die down Tuesday afternoon. Troy tornado risk. Yes, you have one. Foley, Alabama, tornado risk. Pay attention. Auburn area. Main tornado risk goes south of you. It will be very windy, very wet, very loud thunder.
Wow, Mobile's observation just went offline.
Did it really?
Look at I got the state map up there above you.
Oh, wow.
Its temperature, I watched it, it literally disappeared.
So Mobile's observation just went offline. The Mobile airport seems to be being hit by a tornado right about now. Or at the very least, they're without power because of a nearby tornado. Whitehall and Lounsboro, wind and rain. Let me put the map back up so everyone's on the same page here. If you're in the wind and rain area, you're going to get wind and rain. If you're in the area where I've drawn the little dashes, you've got a risk of tornadoes. If you don't know which area you're in, just assume you have a tornado risk. What time risk for tornado in Montgomery? There's really not one. The main tornado risk will stay south of the city of Montgomery, but there's a low-end risk. The timing on that for Montgomery would be essentially now through about 7 a.m. I think after 7, this is all through Montgomery. What about Wilcox County? Stormy there now, but the end is in sight. You got another hour or so, and this will be through. Will what's in Mobile hit Ozark at all? No, it will not last that long. Yeah, Phineas saying Mobile confirmed airport tornado. We were watching that from the very get-go. We actually called out that debris signature pretty quick. New tornado warning issued for Mobile County. First line in Opelika right now? Yes, it is. It's coming in Opelika right now. When will the tornado risk be over for Covington? 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. All right, let's go back into Mobile here. I want to show you that again because that's a tricky situation. Tornadoes move. The tornado moved. That tornado moved right over the radar.
Did it really?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, National Weather Service mentioned the storm is so close to the radar, it's hard to see if it's still on the ground.
Are they located right at the radar?
Yeah, they're right underneath it.
Wow.
Yep. So new tornado warning for, again, the north side of the city of Mobile. This includes Satsuma, Saraland, Chickasaw, Pritchard. This would be northwest Mobile. Interstate 110. Oh, new tornado warning. They popped that one down back into downtown. New tornado for that rotation south of the airport. Whew, man. I'm afraid that's what this line's about to do, is just start
I think even
popping
up here,
tornadoes.
I think even up to Wilcox, Crenshaw, Butler,
Monroe.
same thing. I mean,
Yep.
look at what that looks like on our latest in-house model run. I mean, it's got Union Springs up to 70 almost. I don't know why Troy's at 60, but
Rain.
true. I mean, that line just does not look fun.
Tyler, I really need you to come over here with some good news.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to.
I mean,
um,
see what I'm working with here?
I can't think of anything.
Happy New Year. I mean, just kidding.
I got Diet Sunkist stock. If
Do
you're
you
interested.
do you really? Yeah, that's not good news. That's false hope. What was it Morgan Freeman said in Shawshank Redemption?
Well, that's a goodie.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
That's a goodie.
Oh, that's a phenomenal movie. Yeah, really, just up and down that entire line, I'm afraid we're just about to start seeing, particularly Clark and Monroe.
You might see us on TV soon.
Alicia says, Goshen area, please. There's nothing going on in Goshen. It's really windy. It's really wet. Nothing has changed. It's really windy. It's really wet. It's going to stay really windy and occasionally really wet for the next several hours. Some of these storms could eventually produce tornadoes in Pike County. We don't see anything there yet. We're keeping an eye on it, though. Have y'all had any sleep? No. Tyler needs a donut and coffee. Maybe help his good vibes. Nancy, we're not rewarding that behavior.
Hey, I'll take a Starbucks and a donut delivery.
Right.
That sounds pretty great.
Oh, I would straight up just completely house at least a half a dozen donuts right now. Like, if they're hot and fresh from Krispy Kreme, look, that's a first alert. That is a significant situation. My buddy Carlton Avery, how are you doing? Carlton, my man. Boy, your profile picture, he's rocking the tux. Carlton's going places. You'll hear that name someday. He may be governor. Serenity says, I cannot sleep in this mess. Me neither. And the weather's bad, too. Someone said they need Tyler's energy. Savannah asked, how's Deatsville Pine Level looking? Windy and wet. Windy and wet. Windy and wet. Yeah, they've got 2 tornado warnings down in Mobile County. I don't like the look of that one down in southwestern Butler either. Let's
Well, don't put that into existence.
what? I mean,
Oh yeah, I don't like that either.
here, look at the reflectivity.
Oh wow, just off of that.
And it's kind of, you can see it's really starting
That's
to,
south of the warm front, I think, right? It's probably pretty
or
close.
very near it, which would maybe be worse. If only we had good radar coverage in southwestern Butler County.
You see Selma spiked to 65 right ahead of the line.
Why'd they do that?
I think that means Montgomery's easily going to get to 65.
I specifically asked them not to. Power outage Lee County, asking about Wedowee.
Ooh, there is a new one.
Wedowee. I used to drive through Wedowee all the time, man. Wedowee, you're fine. It's you're going to have a lot of rain. You're going to have a lot of wind. The tornado threat in Wedowee is basically zero. So, Kayla, you're good. Can you go over the timing of the second line of storm? Sure, I'd be happy to. The wind has broke my porch. Casey, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not fun. What about Pike County? How about Greenville? Pike County and Greenville, tornado risk will linger for the next several hours.
Hard to tell with that Butler County storm.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, just off of reflectivity.
Yeah, so in case you don't know, we don't have good radar coverage, good low-level radar coverage in southwest Alabama. Here's the problem. The closer you live to a radar, the better your coverage is. Well, look where our radars are located on this map right here. We've got one at Mobile, we've got one at Birmingham, we have one at Fort Novacell, which is the artist formerly known as Fort Rucker. Then we have one in East Alabama. They're in southern Tallapoosa County. So we've got this big, giant area out here in West Alabama where we do not have a lot of radar coverage. Certainly not low-level radar coverage. Can we see storms? Yes. Can we see them rotating in the lowest levels where tornadoes are produced? No, we cannot. So we are a lot of times, especially, I'll draw it a little more precisely, right out here. That is really where we have a very hard time detecting tornadoes before they form. So it's really frustrating for us. We are in kind of constant communication with federal partners, state partners. We've tried everything to try to get a radar placed out there. The National Weather Service tells us they're considering lowering the radar beam. It'll help a little, not much.
Day 4 outlook, by the way, hasn't really changed.
No changes?
For Friday. Jason Beeman says new TDS, Highway 45, I-65 interchange.
They're just popping tornadoes all over Mobile right now. Update for North Auburn the next 2 hours. Really wet, really windy. The tornado risk is near zero for you. What about Davison, Alabama? Same thing. Really wet, really windy. Tornado risk near zero. How's Andalusia? Tornado risk there is higher. You will need to stay weather aware through at least 7 a.m., maybe later. Tornado risk for Pine Level and Deatsville with a second line. Very close to zero. Lafayette or Auburn, please. Really wet, really windy. No real tornado risk for you. Yeah, there's several tornadoes in Mobile right now. Andalusia to Montgomery. Bumpy ride. Very wet, very windy. Auburn. Very wet, very windy. Tornado risk mainly stays south of you. Let's go back into Mobile. I want to show you that. How about Georgiana?
Circulation near Bayou La Battery.
Say what now?
Another circulation near Saraland. Another one near Bayou La Battery. They're everywhere.
Do you know around when it will hit Auburn, Auburn University? What is it? There's no tornado anywhere near Auburn right now. It's rained all night. It's really wet. It's really windy in Auburn. It's going to stay that way for the rest of through at least 8 o'clock this morning. The tornado risk mainly stays south of you. I doubt you'll have anything. So that's a tough one to answer. Josh, you need to do a video where you read a child's book or the phone book, kind of like Keith Morrison. Emily, it's funny you mentioned Keith Morrison. In our household, Keith Morrison is the GOAT. If you don't watch Dateline and you don't watch Keith Morrison on Dateline, you're really missing a wonderful treat. It is amazing television. The guy's just a great storyteller. His vocal inflections are great. He asks these rhetorical questions, and it's just hilarious. The way he really gets into it. I don't know how to describe it.
New tornado warning near Bayou La Battery.
But all Tyler has is bad news.
You know,
But why? That's how Keith Morrison talks.
But why?
But why?
I'm so sorry.
It was murder.
I'm just trying to keep it real.
You're keeping it real depressing.
I mean,
You gotta have something good, right? What's that song? Tell me something good.
How about that?
Well, you just made half of them mad, no matter what. He said Roll Tide and War Eagle.
I said both.
But right, but that's, I mean, this ain't Switzerland, you know? We're not neutral. You gotta pick a side.
Call me neutral.
Um,
Neutral Seabury.
neutral Seabury. Seabury is actually Dutch for neutral. Said no one ever. What about the Snowden area?
Snow?
But why? Love Keith Morrison, man.
We get some snow up in here?
Snow? Sure.
Can we?
Got some coming. Could you put the drawn map back up? Sure. No one understands it, but I'm happy to put it back up. Okay, so look, I'm going to draw a line right through Montgomery. If you live below this line, down in this part of Alabama right here, you need to be paying attention. If you live above this line, it's just wet and windy. Wet and wind, right? You live south of that, you live in this area down here, it's not only wet and windy, but you also need to be looking out for possible tornadoes. So there you go.
And not literally looking out.
No, you need to be just paying attention.
We don't need those front porch sitters.
Front porch sitters, no way, bad news.
I got good news.
What about slap out? It had to happen.
The longer we talk, the closer we are to being done with this. There's some good news.
That is good news. Could the storms ahead of the line potentially suppress the effects of the line? Great question, Joseph. Not really, no, because the way this is going to work out, warm air is already surging north, right? We know that. Temperatures are already up into the mid-60s, pushing 70 in parts of South Alabama. So that ship has sailed. The storms ahead of the line aren't going to help us enough to, they're not going to stop the inflow of warm air. Now, the question mark here is, do we have enough competition between storms to keep this thing in line? I suspect we do not. But I suspect the worst of this will probably be in far South Alabama. So that'll be something to watch, is how far north do these tornadoes make? Our guess is close to the city of Montgomery, mainly south of it. When will this be moved out by? Is it okay to drive back to Montgomery tomorrow? Yes, it is. Tomorrow will be a cold day, but it will be sunny. And that will make everyone happier inside. Most certainly me. What time will there be a tornado threat for Florala? Well, there's a threat right now. There's no storm that's producing a tornado over you right now at this exact moment. But if you're in Florala, you'll need to stay weather aware through at least 7:30. David, yes, we will go on TV. We're going on TV in 18 minutes, win, lose, or draw, right? Today in Alabama starts at 4:30 a.m., and we are about to start that. So this Facebook Live is going to end momentarily anyway, but we'll be on TV with you from 4:30 to 7 a.m. Then if we have any sort of tornado warning, anything life-threatening, we will get on and stay on. And yes, Amanda Curran is okay. She is just fine. Thank you for asking. Hopefully she is asleep right now. She's working later today, so we kind of stagger these things. So there you go. Yeah, Mobile County now has 3 active tornado warnings. I'm going to take my Norman Rockwell painting down here and show you that. Pretty rough down that way. That Bayou battery thing is something, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. This is about to be QLCS HE double hockey sticks, is my prediction on this whole thing. QLCS means quasi-linear convective system. That's what this is. And they start producing these little spin-up tornadoes, and man, it is a mess.
It is not fun.
It is not fun. The fun factor is 0. So there's your 3 tornado warnings in Mobile County. And then you look up the line here, you see these little notches beginning to form. There's one, and there's one, and there's one. That's what our concern is as we continue to get warmer out ahead of this. As the line moves into that warmer environment, you're likely going to start to see more of these brief tornadoes begin to pop up. Is the north side of Montgomery going to have a tornado threat? I can't rule it out. I think it's really low, though. I really think this is mainly south of the city of Montgomery as far as tornadoes are concerned. Now, it will be really windy and really wet everywhere.
Are you TV ready, mister?
I was born TV ready.
Yeah.
I'm on mic 1. Are they okay with that?
You want me to go ask?
Yeah, maybe. Just see what they coded me and you for, and if I need to swap mics, I certainly can.
Okay.
First, I'm going to
I don't
reload.
know why we would, because we're both on.
Reload on my Diet Mountain Dew. Ran out of Diet Sunkist, man.
You need me to get you something?
No, it'll be all right. How high is the tornado risk for Troy, Alabama? I'd put it in the medium range. It's squarely medium. Once it hits your lips, it's just so good. Beth asked about Auburn. Auburn will be windy and wet. The tornado risk will stay south of you. All right, Tyler, I got a question for you. Do you know, where about South Montgomery the tornado risk will be? Yep.
Was that a serious question?
Yeah, it is. Do you know, I'm reading it out loud to you, do you know, where about South Montgomery? Because I'm saying the risk will be south of Montgomery.
Yeah, everywhere south of.
Everywhere south of Montgomery. But I think we wanted an absolute line. I'm going to say Norman Bridge Road.
That's pretty good.
Yep, that's
Southern
it.
Boulevard.
Yep,
Look at that.
south of Southern Boulevard, baby. There you go. That's even better. Southern Boulevard. You live south of the boulevard, watch out. You live north of the boulevard, you're probably fine. Montgomery Vaughn Road near the Wind Lakes Deer Creek area. Yeah, really windy, really wet. The chance of tornadoes is very, very low there. It's not quite 0. Misty asked me, why did you read that out loud, Josh? OMG. Because I've been at work for 14 hours answering questions like that is why. Yeah. Jeremy Roberts just said the worst thing that anyone has ever said on a Facebook Live, Tyler. Do you want me to share it with you?
What is it?
He says Diet Sundrop is better than Diet Sunkist.
Oh. That might not be true. Might could be, but I don't know. Is it? What do you think?
Jeremy. Jeremy. Are you proud of yourself right now? You know, Jeremy, life is about choices. Decisions drive destiny. And that one, I don't know, man. I don't know. Can I do a rotation check for Autauga County? Sure. That's north of the warm front. And there's very, very little chance of a tornado there. But I'll do it to make you feel better, if that works. There is no rotation in Autauga County. Literally 0. Tyler needs a trip to Wedowee since he's never...
I've been there and I stayed at the little inn.
He stayed at the little inn.
The one right on the main street.
The little house on the prairie.
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. He's been everywhere. Tyler goes places.
Everywhere.
If they make I-65 a toll road, Tyler will have to get a second job.
Amen.
All right. Ozark update. Risk of tornadoes through about 8 o'clock. Maybe as late as 9 at Ozark. We start in about 10 minutes, huh?
Yeah. I can hear both of us.
Update for Beauregard.
Good with me on 2, him on 1? Yeah. Okay.
Beauregard's fine. It's really wet. It's really windy. What is the tornado risk for Ayrton? It's there. All right. You can screen record this. All right. Listen up. Ezra and Abby, this is just for you. I'll pop myself up. How about that? Ezra and Abby, this is just for you. Your mama is absolutely right to keep bicycle helmets in the bathroom. Studies have shown it can save your life. She's not being dramatic. She's being a mama. So put that helmet on. Leave it there in the bathroom. Leave it in that safe place. Put it on when the tornadoes get close. And it can help save your life. It can help save your family's lives. Just do it. Mama's right. All right, how did I do? All right. Scrolling back through the questions. People are saying I'm delirious and they love it. Okay. I'm really not delirious. I am trying to keep this thing interesting since it's 4 a.m, right? I mean, Alexander, City Wetumpka, any tornado risk? Headed there in 45 minutes. No, not really. Really windy, really wet. Please be careful driving. That's going to be a not fun drive. I do know that. Especially if you drive an SUV, a bigger vehicle, it's going to knock you. Wind's going to go back and forth quite a bit. So, there you go. Storm in Greenville is something serious. I buy that. That tracks. Really windy, I'm sure. We're watching for some rotation down there. That's that Butler County one we were watching.
It still looks a little interesting.
Still got that little suspicious shape. There's some mid-level rotation, but there's nothing that makes me think there's a tornado there. Enterprise, tornado risk through 8 a.m. Pay attention. Deatsville, Pine Level, tornado risk there near 0. Really windy, really wet. What about rotation by Hyundai and the power plant? No, none of that. Don't see any. What about the line that's hitting Cassetta right now? Lots of wind with it, lots of rain with it. That's about it. Loud thunder, too. Hubby just left for Selma. How's it there? It's actually going to get better soon in Selma. So here's the deal. The main line has passed through Selma now. Risk of severe weather in Selma is over. It's still going to be really wet and really windy, though. So as he's driving, please be careful. Montgomery to Tallahassee, same thing. Really wet, really windy. No rotation, no real significant tornado risk on that track in the next hour or so. If I had $1 for every time you've said really windy, really wet during this live, I'd have enough for a good time at Wind Creek. Brother, I think you might could buy Wind Creek. It's possible. If they'd sell it to you. Any tornado warnings for the Crawford, Phoenix City area? No. Highland Home, Honoraville. You need to stay weather aware. You've got the possibility of isolated tornadoes through about 7 o'clock. It's also really windy and really wet. All right, what about Auburn, Alabama? Really windy, really wet. Tornado risk stays south of you. Is there a tornado risk for Beauregard to Hurtsboro area? Right on the edge of it. I'd say no, probably not. I think it stays south of you, but it's close enough you need to stay paying attention. Pretty loud in Titus right now. I believe that. What county do you personally think will take the most damage from the final line?
I'm recording this one.
Put me in for Mobile.
Oh, well, that's not fair. I'll take Baldwin.
Baldwin?
I'll take the over on Baldwin.
In our area, Covington.
Always.
Always Covington.
Covington County Special.
Oh, brother.
What are you going to do, man?
I'm still waiting on you to get some good news.
I tried.
I tried my best, man.
Tried so hard, like Akon once said.
Mobile. Hey, you got tornadoes all around you, Mobile. You need to be in a tornado safe place down in South Mobile County. The main line moving through now, though. Things will get better in Mobile pretty soon. Dothan, tornado risk through 9 a.m. Stay weather aware. Why no tornado watch for the area south of Montgomery from the Birmingham NWS? Deborah, that's probably a function of time. We suspect as the morning unfolds, we'll see a tornado watch get issued for that area. Specifically, I think Montgomery, Macon, Bullock, Pike, Barber, Russell, and maybe Lee. Lee's on the edge to me. So, by 8 a.m., this is all gone. So, what does future radar look like for the Mobile cell? Well, it's part of this entire line. Show it to you here.
Tell you what, Josh, that line, I mean, it's already through Selma.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be through Montgomery in, what, an hour?
Yeah, that north side of it is moving east pretty quick. The HRRR last night had it basically right on I-65 at 5 a.m.
So it's pretty good.
It's going to be pretty close. If anything, maybe a little ahead of that.
All I know is I've been everywhere.
Man.
Man.
Covington County, Alicia asking, you need to pay attention through 7, 8 o'clock or so. You got storms now, more on the way. They could produce isolated tornadoes.
Lee County EMA says we have several trees down.
I believe it.
It's windy. What'd you say? Wet and very wet? And
Very wet, very windy. Tornado risk south of Montgomery. Very wet, very windy. Tornado risk south of Montgomery.
That's all we have to say
Can we
during the newscast.
Put that on a t-shirt?
Yep.
So trees down in Lee County, those are all associated with just the wind. We haven't really had many storms yet in Lee County. We have some, but the big thing is the wind. Alrighty, I'm going to wind this thing down because I've got to get ready for TV. I'm on WSFA 12 News, so you can watch this broadcast on your television. If you have cable, satellite, you can watch it free over the air with an antenna. You can watch it if you have a connected TV. You got a smart TV? Go to where you stream, and you could search for WSFA. If you've got a Roku, if you've got Apple TV, if you've got Fire Stick, search WSFA. You can watch there. Then you've got other options. You can watch on the weather app. You can watch on the news app. You can go to WSFA.com/livestream and watch there as well. I would encourage you to watch the broadcast because, quite frankly, that and radar analysis are going to take up all of our available bandwidth through 7 a.m. So the Facebook Lives will go away. If we see rotation, if we think there's a tornado, we will go live on WSFA. Sometimes that coverage gets shared on Facebook on the main station page, the WSFA Facebook page. I can't guarantee that, though. So I would encourage you, don't rely on Facebook for long-form continuous weather coverage. Seek that out on TV, on WSFA, or on the WSFA First Alert weather app. You can scroll to the bottom and click that Watch Live button. So there you go. Again, to recap, really very windy, very wet for everyone. Areas south of Montgomery, a risk of tornadoes through about 8 or 9 a.m. After that time, the severe weather risk is over, and it's just a windy day with a few leftover showers. All right, if there's still something going on after 7 a.m., we may do another Facebook Live. If I can sneak away during the newscast, if I see something that I think you'll benefit from, we'll do a Facebook Live. I'll be posting to the Facebook page here throughout the newscast as well. So I'm going to sign out and head over to the TV side. I hope you'll join us. Again, that's WSFA 12 News, cable, satellite, streaming. You got a lot of options to watch it. Thank you for hanging out with us early on this Tuesday morning. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. If you don't have to get out this morning, don't do it. And we'll keep you updated throughout the morning, throughout the day, and probably again on Friday when we do this whole thing all over again. But enough bad news.